Sandy Solomon.
And I'm Danielle Wilson.
And this is our autobiography for language development. So Danielle, when and how did you understand the languages you speak and read and write today?
I started understanding the languages that I use today by just watching my siblings, and my father would always say that my first words were like food, so cookie was like my first word because I always wanted like Oreos or stuff like that. That was my favorite cookie when I was a kid with some milk. So I would always want to communicate like I was hungry, so I would be like milk, cookie, or things like that. If it was food, like I knew it like the back, like mashed potatoes. I was so little, like mashed potatoes. That was like one of my favorite foods. So that's really how I started like learning how to speak, and I just wanted to eat.
Right, so you started speaking. Who participated in language development for you? When, how, where?
The people that had the biggest impact on my language development would be my oldest sister. She really taught me how like to speak and like ask for things when I wanted. I would follow her around the house because I'm one of the youngest, so I wanted to be like everyone else, and like I couldn't talk. I wanted to like communicate my feelings like my sister. Like when I would see my sister ask my mom for something, I would want to do the same thing. Like my sister would go to my mom and be like, "Mom, can I get candy?" And I would be like, "Mom, can I get candy?" Like I really was a kid that like, you say something, I'm gonna repeat
it.
Yeah, like I was that kid, like don't curse around Dee because she'll repeat everything you say,
Right, yeah.
So that was me. And also my teacher, when I was in school, I would have teachers like where I'm from Florida, and we would talk very country to say, but my teachers would always say like, "Oh, don't say y'all, say you all,"
right,
stuff like that, just so to kind of enhance my formal language, because like I'm learning this language at home, but it's not the same as like when you go to like a professional setting.
So what role did media, schooling, and other language sources play in your acquisition and expanding your knowledge and use of language?
Okay, so when it came to school, like I said, my teachers would give me that knowledge of like, this is the correct way to speak to somebody if you just meet them, or the correct way to speak to somebody if you're like want something or a job, or like the proper way to talk to other people you don't know. And then I was big on like Sesame Street and cartoons, stuff like that. So I would like take the like letter of the day, the word of the day, and those were like so important to me that I would go home and be like, "Oh mom, today's word of the day was like platypus. Do you know what a platypus is, mom?" Like stuff like that. And that would be like so serious to me. Like my mom would always be like, "When are you gonna stop with these words of the day? When are you gonna stop saying that?" Like I would say it all day, like platypus, like in the backseat of the car, just like platypus.
I think those kinds of things made language really exciting. Like having a new word brought up, you always want to like bring it back home, and
you would feel so important. Like if Monday you learned that word, and then on Thursday you use the word.
Exactly.
Like, I just used.
Or when you learned a word and you heard it again, you're like, I know what that means.
On like TV.
Exactly.
Or something. Yeah.
That was always exciting. So consider your current use of language in everyday life. How does your language choice and style vary given the context in which you are talking and writing?
Okay, so when I'm with my friends, I speak very casual because this is just how we talk. We talk very like casual. We're together. We're just hanging out. I don't ever try and like speak too complex for my friends, because where I'm from, like I said, we're very country. We use the simplest of terms, so I don't want to like belittle my friends or make them feel like they're not smart enough to have a conversation with me. And I honestly don't like when other people do that to me, like if they're using like 5-syllable words or like every other word, then I'm just like, "Oh man, I don't know what you're saying. Why are we having this conversation?" So I always want to make people feel like, like what I'm saying
equal,
is, I don't ever want to like try and put myself up here to somebody. And then when I'm like in a job interview or like at something that you just have to talk formal, like presenting a project or something, then I try and be more like, like, yes, hello,
put together.
I try and like have a better presentation of myself. And then when I'm like writing, I text very slang-like, so like it's hard for me to transfer that onto paper.
Right.
So my paper, sometimes I'll have like a lot of grammatical errors, and it'll be like the way that I text. I would text somebody, like, I won't use commas, because, like, when I'm texting somebody, I'm not thinking, oh, I have to put a comma there, or, like, an apostrophe in the word don't.
So yeah. Alrighty. How do you use language to communicate who you are? Give a few examples.
So, one example of how I would use language to communicate who I am is, like, if I'm fighting for something that I believe in, you know, I think that's, like, the best way to, like, understand who somebody is. It's like, if they're feeling strongly for something and you're debating with somebody about the topic that you feel, you're always going to have, like, you want to use your best language. You want to, like, make someone feel like, wow, that girl is really smart. She's intelligent. She knows what she's talking about. You always want to come off as powerful, because people, they won't see that in you until you show it to them. And another way is, like, where I'm from, we have a lot of, like, weird terms that I think a lot of people, if they come to Florida, and just walking around listening to other people's conversations, you wouldn't understand half of the things that, like, we say down there, like, coming up here. So it's like, I appreciate, like, explaining those terms or breaking down, like, what those terms mean to people, because it makes me feel, like, better, you know, where I'm from. I, like, have a lot of pride to be from Florida. So,
yeah, definitely. So you brought a little bit of Florida to North Philly.
Yep. Now we're going to switch gears, and I'm going to be interviewing Sandy. Right. So, Miss Solomon, when and how did you understand the languages you speak, understand, or write?
So I started off, my first language was Arabic. So my parents would talk to me in Arabic, solely Arabic. We were a very Arabic household. I thought my parents didn't know English. I would go to school and be like, no, I'm sorry, my mom doesn't speak English. She did. They both speak fluent English. I just thought they didn't, because we would always be speaking in Arabic. So as my little sister was born, my little brother was born, they always tried to keep Arabic alive in the household. But over time, as I started going to school, I would lose a little bit of Arabic because I was taking in so much English. So obviously I wasn't speaking Arabic at school, so my predominant language became Arabic. And by the time my baby brother was born, he didn't speak Arabic at all, because we started speaking so much English. And my parents had gotten used to speaking to us in English, and they thought it was more important to start strengthening our language in English over Arabic, because that was the language we were going to start to use on an everyday basis. Whereas before I turned, like, 6 years old, all I was speaking was Arabic.
Who participated in your language development? When, where, and how?
So ever since I was born, my grandma would come visit us from Egypt 6 months out of the year. So she would actually legitimately only speak Arabic. So she didn't speak English at all. So obviously when communicating with her, I would only speak in Arabic. And she taught us the Quran in Arabic. So I would be using really formal Arabic along with casual Arabic with my parents. So that kind of helped, having, like, formal Arabic and formal English, because formal Arabic and casual Arabic, because it taught me that there's going to be formal English and casual English. So as I started going to school, my teachers would speak to me in kind of formal English, but not too formal, because obviously I was still pretty young. Yeah, so my teachers definitely helped a lot, and I started to love to learn how to read. And I don't read and write in Arabic. I only know how to read and write, only know how to speak Arabic. So my teachers would always, like, give me books that were set straight to my level, knowing that I came in with a second language. So they would kind of, like, tailor my books, like that personal book bag you had, to the books that would, like, be easier read by me.
What about when you go to Egypt? Would you speak Arabic there?
So
English?
yeah. When I went to Egypt, all my cousins, all my relatives, they only speak Arabic, and they know English, but not enough for me to carry out a conversation. So when I go to Egypt, I definitely find myself strengthening my Arabic a lot more.
That's interesting. What role does the media, or did the media, schooling, and other language sources play in your acquisition, first and second, expanding knowledge?
So I always watch TV, but I never watched, like, any educational shows. I was never a fan of Sesame Street or Barney or Dora, anything like that. So I just picked up, like, really casual conversation, like wordplay, jokes, like how to speak English among your friends, kind of from television. As far as school goes, my teachers were always really supportive in me speaking both languages. So they understood that when I go home, I speak a totally different language. So at school, it was my time to strengthen English. So I would, read a lot, write a lot, and my teachers always were really supportive of like me learning English.
Consider your current use of language in everyday life. How does your language choice and style vary given the context in which you are talking and writing?
So obviously amongst my friends, I'm very casual, just whatever comes to mind, I say it with little thought to grammar or sentence structure or like complex words. Like you said, I don't want to like use huge words amidst conversation with my friends. I think it's just sort of like, I don't know, it would be fake of me to like use super formal language when sitting with my friends. But if I were to have a job interview or I'm in office hours or on the phone with like some business professional, I use definitely much more formal language. And when I write an essay, like you mentioned, like I'm pretty good at like differentiating between text language and like good formal, put together language. So I definitely I switch between, casual and formal pretty often, and I try to find like a healthy balance in the two if I'm having like you said, like a more serious conversation. So I'll use formal language, and I feel like there are certain words where I don't want to substitute a smaller word for it. You know what I mean? So if I'm saying like ethnocentric, I'm going to use that word because I don't think there's another word for it. You know what I mean? And I don't like to be like judged based on the words I use. So I'm going to use the words that show my intelligence need be.
That's good. And can you give us a few examples of how you use language to communicate who you are?
Sure. So when I speak Arabic, sometimes I'll mesh in a lot of English words, and sometimes when I speak English to like Arabic speakers, I'll mesh in a lot of Arabic words. So sometimes I'll have like a sentence that's like Arabic, English, Arabic. And I don't know why.
So like code switch.
Yeah,
right?
they're pretty much code switch. Like I'll put in words where I don't know the word, or the word just isn't coming into mind. So that definitely represents that I'm Egyptian American and I'm going to use both languages. And I'm from Queens, and now I moved out to North Philly, so obviously I use like definitely a lot of slang, a lot of casual conversation. My grammar sometimes is a little off just because I think that's the way we speak.
I understand that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Sandy and Danielle representing our autobiography for language. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching.
Sis, please don't.